Hey guys, Darren Asbury here with Revital Outdoors, bringing another winning podcast from 2022. Tonight we have Mr. Jordan Hartman. Jordan just won the BFL LBL division tournament on Kentucky Lakes, so we're very, very excited to have another winner from the BFL series this year on our podcast, and we're going to bring him in just a minute. Before we get started, as always, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. That way you get notified when we drop all of our new content. Also, check us out, Revital Outdoors, on Instagram and Facebook. And again, if you've never heard of Revital Outdoors, we're a premium CBD company for all the outdoor enthusiasts. We have a very premium CBD product. We're THC free, made right here in America. We have a full lineup of different CBD products available on our website that you can purchase on there. So make sure you check us out, www.revitaloutdoors.com. And if you're interested in a pro staff opportunity, make sure you hit the pro staff tab and fill out that application. We'll be happy to review it. So that being said, I'm very excited for this podcast this evening. Let's go ahead and bring him in, Mr. Jordan Hartman. Before we get started, man, I just want to say congratulations on your recent win.
I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. So
Awesome. So, well, man, let's just get right into it. So, did you practice at all, and how familiar you are with Kentucky Lake, and what came together for you?
So I actually went out the weekend before on Saturday for a few hours and found a few fish. I wasn't exactly sure, how good they were going to be, but I knew that the lake was a little bit high for this time of year, and they were moving some water. So tried to make the most of the day. I work full time at Precision Sonar, and I'm thankful that I have a boss that actually let me off on Thursday to go for a little bit too. So that was pretty awesome. I got to go out and look around a little bit more, but with the gas prices nowadays, it's not really benefit, or it's costing quite a bit if you want to go practice more than 1 or 2 days. So, yeah, that's pretty much
absolutely. And it doesn't help anything that Barkley and Kentucky are ginormous bodies of water.
They are. I mean, you kind of got to pick an area if you're limited on time. And, as big as the lake is, you can find fish anywhere out here. So pick an area you like and break it down. And that's what I typically do. So.
Absolutely. So, well, Jordan, tell us a little bit about your tournament. When you left the dock that morning, how many rods did you have on the deck?
I would say 7 or 8. I think 7 or 8 or so. Of course, I had some more tied up in the box, but I only had 7 or 8 out.
Okay. Were you targeting fish on structure out deep, or were you able to relate up shallow a little bit, or kind of what transition? Help us understand what kind of transition the fish are in right now.
So it was kind of mid-range. The water temp got up pretty high, but it went up pretty quick. What I was thinking and what I did most of the day was I knew the water was moving, and a lot of those big ones really hadn't had that warming trend to get up there on the bank and feed in the creeks and stuff yet. So I stayed on the main lake most of the day. I think a lot of those big fish were still out there eating, and once they slow the current down, then they'll move in. They really have no reason to go in there yet, because they're just sitting out there eating, right? So of course there's some big fish in the creeks, but I think the majority of them hadn't quite moved in yet, and that's pretty much what I targeted all day. I stayed probably less than 6 foot. I don't think I fished any deeper than that, and I just fished in the current is what I did. There wasn't really any structure involved. It's just the way the water moves. I get there, and that's it doesn't really matter what's there. As long as the current's there and it's, they'll set up on it. So.
Okay. So, well, tell us a little bit about your day. Did you catch them early, maybe a little bit later, and how many keepers did you catch?
Okay. So I said this in the article with MLF, but I knew that it was really windy that day, man. It was blowing like 25 out of the south. So I tried to hit some of my better stuff early in the morning, and started out, I caught probably 10 keepers on my first stop, probably 10, 11, 12 pounds worth. They were all smallmouth. So that was nice. Anytime you can get 5 in the boat that early, it's a good day. Plus my co-angler caught one and lost one, so he was excited. And having a good co-angler really helps, set the tone for the day. So that was nice too, and to see him catching some fish. But we left there and we ran down the lake towards Paris, And man, the first place I stopped on, I think we caught probably 7 or 8 more total for the day, probably 25 keepers, I'd say.
Wow.
But we stopped on that second place. We caught them pretty good. I didn't catch any big ones though. At that point, it was, after running down there and fishing around a little bit, it was probably 9:30, 10 o'clock. And I probably had 15-ish. That's what I'd called up to. And I knew that it was fishing pretty tough. So I knew I had a shot at that point. And, man, we pulled up on the last place that I fished at like 10:30. Fish that I weighed a fish in on, and busted them up pretty good. I caught those 2 big ones and maybe one more 3.5 pounder, and I didn't even weigh the second big one, and my scale said 17, and I had culled out like a 2 pounder, so I knew I was 19 to 20 at that point, and I just fished for big fish all day, and I never had another big bite. So we bounced around, and it took a while to get back too. It was really rough. So, but it was a fun day, man. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely. I heard a rumor one time that there's 100-mile-an-hour swells that the wind will blow 100 miles an hour down the path of Kentucky and Bartley Lake. Is that true? I mean, does it really get that rough and that big?
I don't really know. Some days it's so windy out there, you're like, man, the weatherman's lying, and there's no way that this is right. But then you think it's a straight shot down the lake, so it just funnels. And we got actually pretty lucky that day because it was a south wind and the current was rolling pretty good. And I think when the current's moving, it actually helps keep the waves down in the main river channel. So I ran the main river channel the whole day, and the way that current's pushing the water, the waves are actually bigger in the secondary than they were in the main channel because that allow the wind to get the waves to build up like it does now. If we had a north wind, we would have been going home that morning. We wouldn't have. Against the current, those waves really would have been, 5, 6 foot, and that wouldn't have been fun. But
yeah, that wouldn't have been fun. That wouldn't have been fun. So, well, before we let you go, obviously, again, congratulations on your win. What do you look forward to for the rest of the season? And what do you think? I know the next BFL LBL division tournament's coming up in a little less than a month on Kentucky Lake. What do you think the transition of the fish will be in a month from now? And just give us any final thoughts you have.
So I think the next one's April 23rd, right? Somewhere in there.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
But by then, I'd say it'll be. I mean, you can probably do a little bit of anything. I think some will be done spawning. I think there'll still be some that haven't. I'm looking forward to. I qualified, so I should have qualified for the regional, and now I don't really have any pressure for the BFL side. I need to go to Dale Hollow though in 2 weeks for the Toyota series, and I need to catch them there because I had a terrible second day at Gunnersville, so I got a little weight on me for that one. But no, I think the next BFL, a flipping bite, you can probably catch them on a buzz bait. There's probably going to be some pre-spawn fish doing the same thing. I mean, if we get any rain, the water will be moving. So I think it'll spread everybody out a little bit, and it should be good. I think the fish will start moving up here in the next couple of weeks, and the water will come up, into March, and it should be fun. So.
Absolutely. So, well, Jordan, before we let you go, we just want to give you the opportunity to thank any of your family, your friends, your sponsors. I know that you're a very busy tournament angler. You talked about the Toyota series and the BFLs. I looked up your record. You fished a lot of tournaments. You fished a lot of tournaments each and every year. So any final thoughts, any final thank yous before we let you go that supports you in your tournament career?
Yeah. Well, first I want to thank you for having me on, man. It's pretty cool getting to do something like this. I've only done it one time and I enjoyed it, so this is pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Next, I want to thank my parents, my girlfriend's parents. My girlfriend, she's my number one fan. My mom may get mad about that, but no, them and my boss, like I said, for letting me off to practice and go to these events. It's not. It's not easy because you're gone for a week at a Toyota event, and then like I was gone in February, and we're going to be gone here in March. So I thank him a lot. I got it pretty good here. So and then Strike King Lures, Lose Reels, Precision High Tech Outdoors. That's where I run my boat from. If you need a Camus or a Crestliner, they got pontoons and everything. They're a great place to deal with. Sea Clear Power, Power Polar Ants, all that stuff. So they helped me do it, and I appreciate it more than they know. So if anybody's watching or watches this, thank you.
Absolutely. Before we let you go, how can people watching this podcast get a hold of you? Are you what's your social media, and how can they follow your tournament career?
Yeah, my Instagram is Jordan Hartman Fishing. My Facebook page is just my name. I've got a fishing page. I'm kind of trying to put everything on that, but it's hard. I mean, but Jordan Hartman Fishing on Instagram, and then the same on Facebook. So
fantastic. So, well, Jordan, thank you again for coming on this podcast. We're going to wrap things up. Again, we've been talking to Mr. Jordan Hartman. He just got done winning the very first BFL LBL division tournament this year for 2022 with Major League Fishing. So, Jordan, thank you again for coming on board this podcast tonight. Good luck for the rest of the year. Be sure, if you haven't already, to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Revital Outdoors. Check us out on Facebook. See our website for all of our premium CBD products. Again, to all the anglers out there fishing in 2022 with the BFL League, good luck. Be safe out there. God bless. And we'll see everyone on the very next podcast.